Hey guys, how are you doing? I did some car shows over the weekend. I think 3 of them actually. One on Saturday, one on Sunday, and then that cruise night on Monday. Sorry I didn't get any filming of it, but I didn't. The exhaust is sounding good on the single cab, but I am going to cut open the other tailpipe port and put another section down the side of it and give it dual exhaust so it can breathe a little bit better. It seems to run fine, but you got to figure it's got to have some restriction to it. So I went and picked up some more sections of it and did the same with another Beetle tailpipe on the other side, so it'll have that same VW ping sound that I like. Jumped on the scooters, played with them a little bit. They're basically, like anything that kids had, they would just absolutely beat to the point where they didn't run anymore. And, of course, they tried doing their own wiring. I have no idea what this was supposed to be, but nothing was connected to anything, and there's wires hanging and relays hanging, and I don't even know what the hell that is, hanging. So I basically just ripped out the 2 wires that were on the motor and separated them. It didn't have spark at first. After I cut them free, then the spark came back, dumped a little bit of fuel down the plug hole, hit it with a drill. The motor runs good. Did the same thing with the other one. The other one already had spark. I just put some fuel down and it fired okay. Then I wanted to look into the gearboxes of it, so that's what you see here. What it has is basically just a centrifugal clutch. The faster it spins, these 2 guys will swing out and start making contact with a drum. Here's the drum on this side. So as they spin out, they'll catch this and then they'll start driving the drivetrain. There's like a 10-to-1 gear reduction in here, and then there was a sprocket on this that drove the back tire. You kind of see it in there. I'm kind of guessing roughly, I don't know, 5-to-1, 10-to-1, something like that. So I wanted to see if I could steal the parts off of these, and 'cause I don't really care about riding the scooters around, but I wanted to see if I could use these for we'll find it. A drive system. I want to tie those 2 Echo backpack blowers together, so I was kind of hoping that all the stuff was the same. The sprockets are the same size, but the internals are different. You can see that one's got a 6-sided or 5-sided spleen shaft, where this one just has a keyway in it. You see it? So they're not the same. But so I'll scrap that idea, and I just may make something kind of fun out of these. We'll see what happens. And if you guys remember, I have a while ago, all the subscribers remember, I had I took a flexible flyer sled, and I put the electric 4 wheels on it, pneumatic and steering and etc., turned it into a rolling gas-powered flexible flyer sled with wheels. And the one thing that was missing was the cover that came off the fan and blew across the engine. And this, basically that's what I need right there, that guy. So I'll take one of these and I'll scab it back on that, and that thing will actually be able to be useful. I could use it. I was just missing that part. I was looking around my my Horde, and I walked by it and I said, that's the same engine as that. So that'll work out good. The charging system, there isn't any. You would charge it by yourself. You would just, when you came home, you would plug it in. A little port here on the side that would charge the battery up, and the battery would work your lights and your directionals and that kind of thing. So it's a cheap Chinese thing. They're not of any kind of quality, but that's okay. It makes them easy to go cut up and do stuff with without feeling guilty. So that's probably what will happen to them. And I have one of these sitting in the driveway. We got to do some work on it. I got to clean a carburetor, get it running halfway decent, and he wants to hang an angle bracket off the side of the frame so he can put some suitcase weights on it, because he wants to enter some tractor pulling with it and just have some fun. And with that, there's a bar in the back that needs to be addressed. I'll walk out to it. Not a bad looking tractor. It's been cleaned up and painted and all, but they're pretty neat. It's got a bunch of leaks on it. Again, it does run and drive, but it just needs some tender loving care. He took the tank and acided it out and then put the sealer on the inside of it and sealed it all around because it kept getting crap in the float bowl. But the carburetor's still dirty and needs to be addressed. And here's the drawbar. That's it's supposed to be a certain height. It's supposed to be 19 inches from the ground and I think 18 inches from the center of the axle back. We have that written down. The problem with it is though, it's got like a hook hanging here. As you can see, this cobbled little mess over here is not even attached to anything, so that'll never pass tech inspection. So I may just swap the plate, flip it around and drill new holes for it and probably weld it solid to the bottom down there. We'll see how that works out, but we'll fix that up so he has some pulling capacity. Also looking for some old farm equipment that he wants to run off of it. It's got a PTO there, the belt type, and then the regular setup, shaft setup right there. They're like 16 horsepower, 18 horsepower. And what else I got? Snowblower's running good. That's the one I got from the yard sale. I just gave it a quick assessment. Everything's functioning on it. It just needs to be serviced. So I'll put that out back in the tent garage till the fall and address that at that point to get that to flip. I have I went to one of the car shows I went to over the weekend. Of course, the guys started talking about board track racing and everything, and I knew Salem, New Hampshire, which is probably about 9 miles from me. There's a dog track. That dog track, way back in the 20s, was a board track also, and they used to do board track racing there. And I was aware of the history of that one and what went on there. I think it held the speed record there too. I think I want to say 124 miles an hour. Something like that for bikes. I don't know if it was for a certain class of bikes or it was all the board tracks. I'm not sure. Also, I think a Duesenberg had a record there also racing around the board track. And so many people got hurt on board track racing, they actually outlawed it and it wasn't allowed. It was the late 20s that had happened. So anyway, so I'm having that conversation with the guy and he's telling me the story that there was there's an old airport in Haverhill. Haverhill's the next town away from me. That there was, before it was an airport, that they used to do board track racing there also. And I couldn't find any history on it. And I kind of probed the guy as far as getting some information, whether, was it a credible source? Is it just hearsay or what was it? And the guy was, the airport name was, I want to say Dutton, D-U-T-T-E-N, I think was the last name. Dalton, Dutton, something like that. And the history starts in 1929 as far as it being an actual airport. And the airport, it shows, like, if you look it up, it shows the history. It'll say 1940, 1960, 1970. Each one shows like an aerial view of it. It was dirt runways. Here's the airport hangars. It had 2 different runways. Then a runway got paved in 1965. And so it shows the whole history of that. I think the last time it was used was late 80s, I want to say. And I know when we first moved in here, we've been here 19 years now, that we used to see stunt planes flying around up above us, and a stunt plane, one of them, would fly around, do practices, even doing rolls and inverted everything. And as far as I understand, I think that was the son of the father who had the airport. And I know I'm getting lost on where we're going with this, but the guy I was talking to at the car show was speaking with a 90-year-old gentleman when he was his dad, who had grown up in the area, lived right there, right by the airport, and that was also a board track before it turned into the airport. And it's kind of funny because the history of the airport started in 1929. Board track racing ended in the end, end of the 1920s. It was outlawed. So the time frame does kind of match that. Okay, we can't use it for the board track racing anymore. Will it switch over to something else? So I know where the airport is. It's a mile from my house. Can you imagine that? I'm making board track bikes, and there's an actual board track racing track. other than the one that's 9 miles away. It was actually one a mile away from my house. So if you guys are interested, I don't know what I can go find there. It's been closed since, you know, again, 83, so, you know, 20, 30 years we're talking. I'll take a ride in on the dual sport if you guys want me to go check it out. And we're probably just going to see an abandoned runway for the most part. But if you care, I'll do a little bit of a video over there. If not, you know, if one of you says yes, I'm not going to do it. But, you know, if a bunch of people want to see it, I'll see what I can find. But I thought that was pretty cool. That I wish I could find some documentation of it. It would be really neat. But, you know, he seemed to be very certain that the information that he was getting was true, and you can kind of see that, and it does kind of line up to the timeline of when the airport started. So, I guess, well, I'm going to go shut this one down. I'm going to go see if I can go play with that tractor a little bit and pull the carb off and get that clean and see if I can get it running halfway decent, and also do my exhaust on the single cab. All right, take care. Bye. Rough day? Thought so.